Hey guys, I'm back. Happy Conscious Gal again. I'm on my same drive to Queenscliff to the Great Ocean Road to see my optometrist. I thought I'd keep telling you some interesting stuff, given I've got all this time, which I don't normally have. So this is interesting. I've started thinking ahead to P3 because it's only a couple of weeks away for me. And as you guys know, I'm pretty deeply interested in conscious eating and healthy food, and I have been since I was 15. And I know a lot about it. And I thought I knew which foods were right for me because I've done huge amounts of research over the last 20 years, and I've tried lots of diets. I've eaten raw food, I've eaten low carb, I've eaten Pritikin, I've eaten low fat, I've done Fit for Life. I mean, I've been dieting since I was 12. No longer dieting, because now I'm sorting it all out with HCG. There'll be no more diets. But I thought I knew which foods suited me and which foods were the healthiest. And I do know my blood type, and I've looked into that as well. Anyway, but when I was in Hawaii last year, for 5 months, I really ate the best I've ever eaten in my life. I mean, I was eating pretty much 90% raw food, and the only processed food I was eating was probably like wholemeal spelt crackers and quinoa. You know, we were nowhere near even a store. We were living in the middle of the jungle. So once a week we'd go to the local market and buy all this fresh stuff. There was fruit growing, you know, near our house, the avocados and, you know, bananas growing in the garden. So, you know, there was nowhere to buy junk food. And I don't really like cooking. I much prefer just to chop a big salad. So I just had a green smoothie for breakfast every morning. I had a piece of spelt cracker or a raw cracker made from flax seeds or something with avocado on it and tomatoes for lunch. And then for dinner I'd make either a raw soup or a big salad or some quinoa and broccoli or something. So it was like the healthiest I've ever eaten in my life. Plus I was walking most days, plus I was jumping on the rebounder for half an hour to an hour every day because there was a rebounder at the house and I loved jumping up and down on it. I used to watch Project Runway on my laptop and jump up and down on the rebounder. Not very conscious behaviour, but very fun. Anyway, I came home from Hawaii after 5 months, fatter than when I left. And I was just, at that point I was in tears. I was like, you can't eat any better than I'm eating. What the hell is going on? And it was only after I read Pounds and Inches that I realised that it was nothing to do with what I was eating, that my metabolism's completely messed up. And the reason for that, some of you know, is because I suffered chronic pain for a decade. I had a number of years where I couldn't walk. It wasn't just that I wasn't exercising. I couldn't even walk to my car or across the house. So I had 0 calorie expenditure, but I was still eating healthy, normal food. And my body just had to store all those calories, and the storage system broke, basically. So it all got put into abnormal fat storage. And once I got better and was able to exercise and walk and move again, I couldn't get rid of it because it was stuck in abnormal fat cells. As you all know, because you've read Pounds and Inches. So no matter how healthily I've eaten and how much I've exercised since, it just wouldn't come off, which was deeply frustrating for me. But, so HCG is working really well for me. But I was thinking about that time in Hawaii, and I thought, well, it would be interesting to see if any of the foods I ate maybe weren't good for me, even though they're all organic, healthy, raw food, because, you know, not everything's good for everyone. And I also was starting to think about what I'm going to eat on phase 3. And I thought, you know, this is a real opportunity for me to upgrade my eating again. I already eat pretty well, but you can always improve. And I know a lot about superfoods and stuff, and I want to see if there's any I should add in. Anyway, I've been learning how to muscle test myself, which is where you test your body and see how it reacts to things. If you get a strong signal, it means that that food or that substance suits you. If your muscle goes weak, it means that that food or that substance is not good for you, is toxic for you. My boyfriend's a master muscle tester. He's also a master dowser, which means he swings a pendulum and he can test you for foods and allergies and all sorts of stuff, and he's very accurate. And I've been testing him for a year. I'm very cynical, and he's proved to me that he's accurate. So what I did was I drew up a list of every food I could think of. I spent many hours researching it on the internet, a very detailed list. You guys know I'm very over the top. You saw my measuring chart. When I do something, I do it 100%. So I drew up a very long, detailed list. And it's going to take us a long time to go through this list and douse every single food on it and find out which ones are good for Alan and which ones are good for me. And we're doing it with a system scoring each food from 0 to 10. A 10 means the food is absolutely brilliant for me, the best food I can eat on the planet, I could eat it every single day. A 0 means I must absolutely not eat it, it's toxic for me. And then in between, our scale basically is if it gets an 8, a 9 or a 10, it's going to be a staple food in our house that we can eat 85% of the time. If it gets a 5, 6 or a 7, you can eat it occasionally 15% of the time. If it gets a 2, 3 or a 4, you might eat it, 5% of the time. If it gets a 1, you can eat it 1% of the time, like once a year or something if you have no choice. If it gets a 0, you do not eat it ever. It's not good for you. So anyway, I was kind of curious. So far, we've only had time to do 2 sessions because it takes a long time to do this. The first session we doused all the oils. We started with fats. So we doused the oils, and I was very happy to learn that, I don't have it with me here in the car, but I can remember it fairly well. I can eat quite a lot of different oils and get an 8, a 9 or a 10 score for them, which is great because it means that on P3 I'm going to be pretty okay. Coconut oil got a 10 for me, so that's brilliant because I really love it. I think raw sesame oil got a 7 or an 8. Not cooked sesame oil, so I'm not going to use it to cook with. I'm only going to cook with coconut oil. Avocado oil did not get a good score for me. I can't use that. I think safflower oil was quite good. I think peanut oil was okay. MCT oil was okay. Olive oil was good. So the 2 ones that got the best scores for me were coconut oil and olive oil. The only one I got a good score for cooking with for me was coconut oil. Alan got completely different scores. His body type is very different to mine. So I was relieved about that. I love cooking with coconut oil. I love putting olive oil. I love putting flaxseed oil. They all got good scores. Very relieved. Then the next day we doused the nuts. This was slightly horrifying for me, I have to say, because I've been really looking forward to eating lots of nuts on P3, and really the only nuts I like, if I'm really honest, are cashews and pistachio nuts. I'm not a big fan of almonds. I don't really digest them very well, but I'll eat them because they fill me up. Anyway, I found out almonds aren't good for me, not even sprouted almonds, not even soaked almonds. I found out cashews aren't good for me at all. I got like a 3 to cashews. And I found out pistachios aren't good for me, not even soaked or sprouted, because we tested each nut for raw, soaked, sprouted, and roasted, to be really thorough, because I'm a bloody thorough anal person, as you can tell. So that was depressing. The only nuts that I can have that are an 8, 9 or a 10 that I can have regularly were peanuts, which I don't like, but I'm going to learn to like. I think they were an 8. And walnuts, which I don't like. They're an 8. The only nut that both my partner and Alan could eat every other nut, basically, except those. So he's completely different nut than I am. The only nut we have in common is pine nuts. We both got a 9 and a 10 for pine nuts. I don't even like pine nuts. I've never even really used pine nuts or eaten them or cooked with them, but from now on I'm going to be cooking with them a lot because we can both eat them and it's the only nut we can both eat. So, it's great information to find out, but it's also kind of upsetting if you find out that things you love that you can't eat. And I do trust it because it's very accurate. And I'll tell you why I trust it, because I had a very sinking feeling the other day when I was thinking back to my time in Hawaii. And I remember something I read a long time ago about blood types, and I am an AB blood type. And I went back and looked it up the other day, and I already don't eat buckwheat, I don't eat corn, I don't eat the things that ABs are not supposed to eat, because I read that a long time ago and I never ate them since. But I saw that there was something else on the AB blood type list you're supposed to avoid, which I had obviously forgotten about, and that is avocado. And I went, oh my God, my main thing I ate in Hawaii was avocado. I mean, I had it in my smoothie every morning. I had it on my spelt cracker or my raw crackers every single day for lunch. And I snacked on avocados. They were growing outside our front door. I probably ate 2 avocados a day, thinking it was really good, healthy fat. And as I told you, I didn't lose any weight on that whole 5 months. In fact, I came home heavier. So I was kind of having this sinking feeling, oh my God, maybe avocados aren't good for me. Even though they're generally very good food, maybe for my particular body they're not. I didn't tell Alan any of this because, as I've told you, I like to test his dowsing. I don't want to give him any information. I want him to really genuinely use the pendulum. I don't want to influence him. So this is the most depressing part of this experiment so far. So we're going through all the nuts, and I found out I can't eat most nuts. And then I said, okay, can you test, how about testing avocado? I just sort of casually said it. He tests it. I got a 3 to it. I was like, no, that can't be true. I said, I don't believe you. So I went and got an avocado and held it in my hand, and I got him to test me with it in my hand so he could actually muscle test me and douse me. And we got a 3. And I was like, shit, a 3? That means I really can't ever eat avocado. And we found out that one variety of avocado I get a 4 out of 10, and the others I get a 3 out of 10. So I was like, oh my God. I like to eat raw food, vegan raw food. I'm supposed to do without most nuts and avocado. And then I was like, shit, can you test bananas and dates? Because they're the other foods that I use to fill myself up when I eat raw. I had a terrible suspicion that I shouldn't have those because they're very high in sugar. And it turned out I was right. I can't have those. They got very low scores. So I'm kind of looking forward ahead to my life, my P4 life, where I'll be going back to pretty vegan-y, raw food eating. I don't know how I'm going to do it without avocados, bananas, or dates. Oh my God. All I know is, thank God in heaven, thank Gott in Himmel, I can eat coconuts, coconut meat, coconut oil, coconut milk. Because I'm going to be putting coconut meat in all my desserts, in my smoothies, to thicken it up. I'm going to be putting chia seeds and flax seeds and all sorts of things to thicken stuff up. I'm going to have to learn a whole lot of new tricks to make foods a bit heavier and more filling because my old tricks involve avocados, bananas, and dates. Anyway, we haven't finished this experiment yet. It may well turn out there's a whole lot of foods I currently don't eat that I find out are very good for me, so my repertoire of food may end up being bigger than it is now. Who knows? It's all a big fat experiment, but I shall keep you posted. That's all I know for now. So I thought while I was driving, I'd share that with you because it has been a major freak out for me. But that's good. I'm really glad I'm doing this process. You know what? I'd rather be informed. And as my Feldenkrais trainer said to me when I was going through my Feldenkrais training, which is the amazing life-changing training I did, which got me from being completely crippled and unable to move and unable to walk with chronic pain, to the point where I'm now slinky as a dolphin. It was this thing called the Feldenkrais method. My trainer, Alan Questel, awesome man from New Mexico, he said something which I'll never forget. He said, once you become aware, you can't become unaware. Once you become aware, you can't become unaware. And the bastard was right. Because now I know I can't even eat avocado, dates, and bananas. I can't forget that I know that. So that's my new reality. We are now in a parallel universe free from avocados, bananas, and dates. So I'll keep you posted how that unfolds when I hit P3 and we see what happens. And I'll let you know what happens as I go through the rest of this dowsing experiment and find out what I can and can't eat. But for now, I'm going to sign off because I've still got a bit of a way to drive. And there is one serious thing I want to talk about. I know I've already done 2 vlogs. One was a very silly one was a kind of dowsing one about foods. But there's one that I want to do that I have been asked to talk about by one of my viewers, vlog viewers, Donna, Giving It My All 2011, has asked me to make a vlog which she thinks will be very inspiring for people on a particular topic. And given I have another hour of driving ahead of me, I'm going to do it now. Because I'm in a good mood, it's a sunny day, I've got a very easy drive ahead of me, I've got another 18 kilometres on one straight road to drive. So I'm going to do that now. I probably won't post it for a couple of days because I don't want you to all get sick of me, but I am going to film it now, so you'll see me in the same outfit again. Maybe I'll put a scarf on or something radical. Okay guys, see ya, bye!